What's up, brand builders? Stephen Hurahan here at BrandMasterAcademy.com, and in this video I'm going to show you 10 brand personality examples so you can learn how the most charismatic and loved brands in the world charm their audiences, but most importantly, earn their affection. Now, if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Get comfy, you're going to enjoy this one. If you're new to the channel and you want actionable brand strategy, tips and techniques to grow your business, well then hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and you'll be well on your way. Now, I talk a lot about brand personality. I've written a lot of articles, I've done a lot of videos on brand archetypes and brand personality, and the reason for that is I really feel that this is the future of branding. If you look at the last 20 years, the transition that the brand-consumer relationship has gone on, where the brands had all the power 20 years ago and now the consumer has all of that power, then we can see how brands have adapted to that and they're becoming more and more human. Consumers are demanding that the brands that they do business with speak to them on a human level, like they know who they are, what they're going through, what their pain points and challenges are, and they speak to them with emotion as if they know them and they feel familiar. So I really feel that that is the future and the present of branding. And if you want to inject personality into your brands, which you definitely should, then you can look to some of the best brands, the most charismatic brands, the most loved brands in the world for inspiration, and that's what we're going to go through in this video. So let's take a look at 10 examples of brand personality from some of the most loved brands in the world and the characteristics used by these brands to make those connections. Brand personality example number 1 is Lego. Now, Lego is an old school brand and a bit of a throwback to a simpler time before screens and apps and modern toys that kids have today. And of all brand personality examples listed here, Lego can proudly claim to be one of the world's most loved brands. Born from and built on imagination, Lego is a brand that opens up a world of fantasy, creativity and play for kids young and old. Lego is a traditionalist brand created in 1932, and though they hadn't posted a loss in 66 years, the brand was in trouble back in 1998 because it lost its connection with culture and relevancy. Fast forward to today though, and Lego has clicked itself onto every culturally relevant theme, from superheroes to movies, and with a generous dose of humor, it has rejuvenated itself as a creative, original, imaginative and fun-loving brand. Its language is youthful, its tone of voice is fun-loving, and its characteristics are imagination and creativity. Brand personality example number 2 is Alfa Romeo. Now, Alfa Romeo is a typically Italian brand. It represents style and sophistication as well as a feeling of sensuality. Its tagline is the mechanics of emotion, and that provides an insight into the emotive spirit of the brand. It's not British, it's not American, it's not German or Japanese. It's Italian and it speaks like one. Throughout its communication, it appeals to the senses with sensual and emotive language and imagery and sets itself apart from other car brands within its class. Its brand identity is sleek, its language is sensual, its tone of voice is emotive, and its characteristics are stylish and sexy. Now, one of the reasons I really like this example of brand personality is that Alfa Romeo does not feel like any other car brand. There are so many car brands out there, and you can look at multiple car brands and they kind of seem like a variation of each other, but there is no other car brand out there, certainly within its class, that looks or feels or sounds like Alfa Romeo. So I really like this example of brand personality from an automotive brand. Brand personality example number 3 is Dove. Now, Dove is a simple and elegant brand with a purposeful soul, and it promotes and encourages the self-esteem in women and girls. Now, few brand personality examples are as innocent as Dove, and by innocent I'm tapping in here to the innocent archetype. So if you want to know more about archetypes, I'll leave a link in the description below and I'll leave a card above as well so you can check those out. But Dove embrace all things pure and offer their female audience almost godlike status. The brand displays appreciation for all that's beautiful and feminine. It sees that beauty and femininity in all women and encourages women and girls to see the same beauty in themselves, both inside and outside. Dove has a positive and encouraging personality and communicates optimism and honesty through their language and tone. Its brand identity is pure, its language is simple, its tone of voice is positive, and the characteristics that it displays is purity and honesty. Example number 4 is Nike. Now, Nike is an inspirational brand and it inspires its audience to go out and do. The competitive track and field heritage of their founders Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman is part of the fabric of the brand. And this winning mentality extends right through the brand personnel into the relationship that it has with its customers as well. So Nike is a winner. That's what it lives for. It's there to be number one, and that's what it oozes throughout all of its communication. And just like every athlete at the top of their game, Nike has this burning desire to be at the top and stay there, absolutely undisputed. And that winning mentality is evident in everything the brand does, from its innovation to its branding. And Nike does represent this kind of coach personality that's encouraging and guiding and demonstrating, motivating, and holding their audience responsible for their success or their failure. Their tagline, "Just Do It," is a call to action, a way of life, and a belief that you can achieve what you want if you want it bad enough. Their brand identity is efficient, their language is that of a champion, their tone of voice is motivational, and the characteristics that they display are brave and determined. Now, when I first started to learn about brand personality, I started to think about funny brands such as the Dollar Shave Club or Old Spice, or brands that, made jokes or had humor throughout their brand communication. But this example just goes to show that brand personality is not about a brand being funny. It's not about a brand making their customers or their audience laugh. It's about a brand connecting through the characteristics. So Nike understands who their audience is. They understand that winning mentality that their audience has, that competitive nature and that desire to win that their audience has, and they tap into that through the characteristics that they display. So this is a great example of how brand personality is not just about being funny. It's not about making your audience laugh. It's about connecting with them through the personality and the characteristics that they're attracted to the most. Brand personality example number 5 is Lynx or Axe, depending on where you are in the world. Now, Lynx is a brand that communicates to its audience that you're one of us and we're where it's at. So through a mix of collective and humorous communication, it appeals to its audience's desires to not just fit in, but to have the confidence to be themselves. Lynx appeals to new generations of savvy men who are transitioning to finding their own way. So they're going from their teenage years to their adult years. And like a big brother, the brand encourages expression and acts as a voice of reassurance to its audience with a message that your confidence is your key and embrace who you are. Their brand identity is slick, their language is cool, their tone of voice is reassuring, and the characteristics that they display are protective and encouraging. Brand personality example number 6 is Tom's. Now, Tom's is a brand purpose native, which means that they were one of the first brands to be born from their purpose. So the founders came up with an idea of how to help people, and the brand was born from that point. So they offer a sense of caring not just through their visuals and their communication, but through their actions, having helped near 100 million people they've impacted. So they are a shoe company, but they've gone out of their way to communicate that they're more than just that by displaying warm, reassuring, and supportive characteristics in how they go about their business. With one arm around their customers and another arm around the people that they're trying to help, Tom's is a feel-good brand bringing people together. Their brand identity is light and warm, their language is caring, their tone of voice is nurturing, and the characteristics that they display are supportive and helpful. Brand personality example number 7 is Mercedes-Benz. Now, Mercedes is an aspirational and exclusive brand that sits on a pedestal and encourages its customers to earn the right to join their club. So that's the feeling that they give out to their audience, that you need to earn the right to join this club. And it's a club of prestige, and the rite of passage is success, and their reward for that success is status. So Mercedes communicates superiority and exclusivity to remind their audience that they are the top of the food chain of society. Throughout their entire brand experience, they display characteristics of status, wealth, and success, and they provide their customers with a sense of achievement. Their brand identity is refined, their language is articulate, their tone of voice is authoritative, and their characteristics that they display are successful and commanding. Now, the Mercedes example really pulls into focus the role of the brand and the representation of that brand. So yes, Mercedes is an automotive car brand and their products get their customers from A to B, but they represent far more than that. It's really about status, and they represent this sense of achievement to their audience. So when you come to putting your brand together and putting your brand personality together, ask that question: what is it that you're going to represent to your audience, and how do you display characteristics to represent that role? Brand personality example number 8 is Coca-Cola. So whenever you think of Coke, chances are consciously or subconsciously you think of the word happiness or the feeling happiness. And the reason for that is that Coke has made it their business to associate the brand with that word by aligning the brand with every happy moment that you can think of, from Christmas to summer holidays. So through their advertising and their communication, they consistently display happy and somewhat magical characteristics which we associate with enjoyment. Their personality is carefree and fun-loving, which encourages the audience to forget their fears and stresses and enjoy the moment by having a Coke and a smile. Their brand identity is radiant, their language is joyful, their tone of voice is enthusiastic, and the characteristics that they display are optimistic and fun-loving. Brand personality example number 9 is Ikea. Now, Ikea is a no-nonsense, simple brand that knows its category and stays in its lane. The brand appeals to normal, everyday people who have specific needs and requirements, and they want simple solutions without any hassle. The simple looking, simple talking approach with a sprinkle of humor every now and then shows that the brand doesn't take itself too seriously. The wonderful everyday tagline shows its lighthearted, bright side and spirit, and they communicate this sense of inclusion and equality. Their brand identity is bright and unpretentious. Their language is everyday. Their tone of voice is easy, and the characteristics that they display are togetherness and inclusiveness. And brand personality example number 10 is Apple. Now, although Apple has a rebellious streak by doing things differently and does have a history of going against the grain of the industry, they are an innovator and a visionary at heart. They're motivated to reinvent the wheel, to create something new, and to break through boundaries of technology. They encourage and inspire their customers to go out and express themselves and use their imagination to find their vision or their originality. They've been embraced by most or all creative industries and progressive and forward-thinking individuals and businesses as well. So they've really changed the world, and they offer their customers the opportunity to join them on this cutting edge of the unknown, to go out and change the world themselves. Their brand identity is minimalistic, their language is simple, their tone of voice is quietly confident, and the characteristics that they display are innovation and creativity. Now, these examples are considered to be some of the most loved brands in the world, so they understand brand personality and they use it to really connect with their audience on a human level. Now, if you're building a brand today, it's not the same as it was 10 years ago. Maybe 10 years ago, some brands would get away with just looks, with just looking a certain way. But today, consumers have changed. They demand so much more from brands today, and they expect their brands to speak to them on a human level. They want to feel that their brand knows who they are, that they feel like they're talking directly to them. So if you're going to build a brand to do that, then you need far more than looks, and you really need to think about who your audience is, the characteristics that they're attracted to, and inject those characteristics into your brand. So when you come time to doing that, when it comes time to injecting characteristics into your brand or developing your brand personality, come back to this video and look at how the most loved brands in the world do it. But I would love to hear from you about your experience when it comes to brand personality. Maybe you've got an experience with a specific brand, or you've got another example that's not listed here. I'd love to hear from you in the comments box below. If you've got any questions at all in relation to brand personality or developing brand personalities for your brand, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell as well. It'll let you know when we've got new videos coming out. If you want to learn more about brand strategy and building brand strategies from scratch, or if you want more actionable brand strategy tips and techniques, well then head on over to BrandMasterAcademy.com and get yourself signed up for the list. We've got plenty of resources on there that can help you to develop brand personalities and brand strategies from scratch as well. But again, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below what your experiences are, what your challenges are. I'll do my best to answer all of those. Until next time, brand like a master, and I will see you in the next video.